groovy. Just like that, it's Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, and it's the Wednesday after No Name Nationals. So
Right?
we always get the lead off. It seems like everything that's happened, all the insight, I guess you could say, at No Name Nationals. We get to spill the beans.
I don't want to talk about it too much. We'll just talk about our individual things because John Wilburn, that's basically what he's going to do on Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from John. So
no thunder from John, but I am going to talk about what I see, what I did do, and what you did do, and the Triple Crown. That's basically all I want to talk about because that was us. That was 100% us.
Yeah. Well, since it is Wednesday night, we'll start off from the top. We got Mostly Old Parts. Ron Ward is the first one in here, so he was excited. Right. Rabbit Transit Garage, Fab Race Mod Repeat, Buff Del Campo, Mohawk 62, Unity Motorsports Garage. Andy is in the house. Clint Street Machines, SSR Performance, which had a absolutely awesome performance at Triple Crown.
Right.
KS Skyhawk, hear all about the No Name Nationals and the Professor's Hat. Vintage Adventure Drives, Tanner is here, and he is, well, I have to tell you, I met him for the first time at this No Name Nationals, and Tanner is a top-notch dude.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mama M3, Big Mike's Hoopty Barn, Miss Cat G, Tom Brown is hello, everyone. Val 360, Jimmy, Dakota's Timeout, Indecisive Garage, Tim is in the house. Mexican Spec is here. Dr. Go, Danny Boyd, and Junkyard D. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat, Hot Rod Guy Garage, and let's see. Oh, Mr. John Wilburn has essentially reported for duty and thrown an elbow from the top rope. Right.
Right.
So he says reporting with an elbow from the top rope. Okay. Let's see what else, and I think that's it. I think I caught up to everyone. But
yeah.
So Ron Ward says, "Good evening, all. Let's see what these technical geniuses have up their sleeves." There's only one genius in here, and it ain't me. I'll tell you that. So, but after this week's No Name Nationals, so my T-Bird took a hiatus, was in purgatory, and then broke that sucker out of purgatory jail. Went to make some passes. First pass is flaring up in high gear. Second pass, it's even worse. And unfortunately, Andy and I had corrected that last year, but Andy did tell me 5 to 25 passes it'll be doing again. So it made it like 10, 7. So right on cue, it freaking decides to flare up in high gear. And I think it's time to change to something that's going to last a little bit of time. The C4, I believe I've crested the maximum output of the C4, at a financial rate. I mean, I could probably put new clutches in it and it'd be good for another 7 passes, but that'll be it. So I don't feel like doing that every month.
So what's going to be the transmission of choice next?
I don't know yet. I haven't figured it out. I'm leaning one way. I would like to keep it as is. I'd like to do a turbo 400 in it. Yeah. I think that would be the most cost-effective and easiest route to go. But how many drag cars does one man need? That's the question I ask myself. So, what if I went land speed record racing? Like the mile over at Paragould, Arkansas, or some Bonneville or something like that. I mean, the car is designed for that. top speed 212 miles an hour. Ask Bill Elliott. So
Right.
yeah, I think it would be kind of cool to do something like that. I don't need about a bazillion drag cars, so I don't know. That's what I'll probably look at.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, I got this car right behind me here, and I'm not sure. Me and Dallas talked about a few things, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. Um, but the blue car, the Cookie Monster, man, it did good, and it it was the hardest working I ever did to do a baseline pass. 570 is what I would consider A to B pass in the Cookie Monster at most tracks. I had to work for it to get a 577. Um, so yeah,
yeah, the
uh,
track wasn't as good as it had been, and I don't know if it's just because of the prep or if it was. I think it had everything to do with the heat. It was hot the first day, like 93
yeah,
hot.
yeah.
Um,
Track was 125 temperature at the starting line.
so, and it didn't really. Every time I here's what I think. I think there's so many cars at the No Name Nationals that are running like a hard tire that the track will never come around. You can get it to a decent point, but that's about all it's going to ever do because there's just so many hard tires there that it'll never
Yeah.
really come around like a drag strip. Um, but and it's not a downside. It's just it is what it is. You know, I kind of expected at No Name Nationals to be the best it is going to be. Um,
Ron Ward's throwing out a question here really quick, and I've only used the stainless steel. This other, I've never actually used the last one before. Um, so he basically is breaking out the early tech question regarding brake line materials, discuss the merits and shortcomings of stainless steel and the copper tubing. Now, here's the thing: stainless steel, I love it and hate it at the exact same time. I hate flaring that stuff. It is a pain in the butt. I used to have one of these hydraulic double flaring tools. With that, it was awesome. I would use stainless steel. It was also harder to bend and whatnot. But I've never used the NIQ or the NICOP tubing. I've never used that. Have you?
I've never used it. I actually saw it on a video somebody was doing just recently, and I'm like,
Oh,
nickel, or I was like, actually,
copper.
I grabbed hold of the copper. I'm like, copper? Like you're gonna
Yes.
freaking die.
I remember that 2 weeks ago we were talking about that. Yeah, and someone came through. So
Yeah,
I
I've
would have to
never used it. I could see.
easy.
Well, I could see where it'd be simple to flare it because the
Yep.
copper is very malleable,
Wow. Yeah.
right? But I don't know if the nickel in it keeps it make it have strength. I don't know. I've never used it. I'm always I'm like the basic go to the parts store and get the freaking steel brake line guy, right?
That's right. I'm the same way. That's what I have on this thing. Is I go to the parts store, get the steel brake line. If it was someone else's car and they pay me for the stainless steel, but for me, I'm with you, Dallas. I literally go down there. I get the steel brake line. It's already been double flared. I make sure to buy different sections so it's already ready to go. And then if
Yeah,
I have to do I'll put a little extra bend in it and call it good, so I don't have to put an extra flare in it.
dude, I had to put a whole entire loop in my S10 one, so just so I didn't have to cut it and flare it.
Perfect.
That's how I
That's
am.
exactly
Yeah.
what I do.
But
I'm like,
ICOP, I would like to work with it just to see how it works. It sounds like it would be much easier to flare than stainless steel. I know stainless steel is a bitch to
it
flare
is. It
uh,
is.
because it's just so hard. And it's all okay. Stainless steel, there's certain grades of stainless steel, but when you start making stainless steel, it is a high carbon content, really high carbon content. When it's
That's right.
high carbon content, generally means it's brittle. And when it's brittle, it's the opposite of malleable, right?
That's right.
So when you try to flare that stuff, what you're trying to do is form it. And
Mhm.
you're force forming it with pressure. And it don't like it, right? Like there's nothing stainless steel that likes pressure. It literally just cracks or splits.
Yeah,
And
you'll tear
that's
it.
what
Yeah.
happens to the flares I've tried to do with stainless steel to the point where I just threw them away and went and got some steel brake lines from the parts store.
Yeah, and that's when I couldn't find my hydraulic double flaring tool. That's when I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to go get the part store steel. But yeah, SSR saying the same thing. Stainless steel's double flare is just I can't even. now that I think about it, it's like I don't even want to use that. I used to have one of those. Remember the cheapy, twisty ones?
That's all I have. Yeah.
Oh man, I had to
I
go
need to
and
buy
buy
the
one.
good one. Like, who's the guy on Dalton on Pole Barn Garage? He's got one that he always touts that's like the greatest ever. So I need to try that one. I need to buy one. But right now, I'm buying things that are, I don't know, important. And I'll just go with steel brake lines at the moment. But I was working on my 63 Buick today. I need to start doing videos on that, man, where I'm just like stripping paint. There is literally 9 layers of paint on the roof. 9. Not well, I guess that's not fair. There's probably 6 layers of paint and 3 layers of primer, right? And it's all different layers. When you start cutting it down with some, I'm using 100 grit, and it like burns through it like there's nothing because there's so much paint. It looks like a gumball, like a jawbreaker. You know how like a jawbreaker looks when you suck on one for a while, and then they get all those weird colors. That's exactly how it looks.
So Vintage Adventure Drive says that his car ran the best mile an hour ever on Saturday. Well, remember Saturday? I think that was the day it rained, right?
That was the day it cooled off, and then got down to like the high was only 86, but in the morning before the sun came out, ooh wee, man, it was like 78. I thought about trying to make a pass. By the time I got all my stuff together, everyone was already up there, and I was waiting, and it was already hot. So,
yeah. I actually did something out of my wheelhouse. I put up 3 videos. Maybe you guys have seen them. I literally just videotaped everything I saw when I was not racing, and I just basically regurgitated it into a video, and I didn't do any editing. I just threw it on there and threw it up on YouTube and basically said, it is what it is. That's what it is. I guess some people liked it, so maybe I'll do some more of those. I might go to a couple races and just kind of do that.
Dude, we've talked about this a while. I think instead of just going to races, I think you and I should hit some gearhead destinations and just do videos like that, dude, and do some cool stuff.
Yeah, because it was just thinking about some of that stuff would be fun.
Dude,
like the next time they do
in Ensenada, or Rosarito, or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then Jason. Jason Falk, man, that guy's awesome. Every time I saw him, he was working on somebody else's junk. Every single time he was working on his car. Then I saw him working on Jamie's car. Then I saw him over there. I can't remember who was the guy who put all the cylinder heads on, built the engine, and almost made it into the triple. Huh?
Yeah, it was Junkyard D.
Junkyard D. Then when we broke in the engine, right? He was over there. He literally sat there and held a water hose.
On the radiator the whole time while we're trying to keep it cool. And
I mean,
he did. It probably wouldn't have made it had we not done that.
No, it barely made it the way it was. So
yeah.
And another one car that Hot Rod Guy Garage. He's in here right now. His Mustang. That thing was awesome. I wish I could have seen it. Did he ever spray it? Did he ever get down the track? And
I think he did spray it, and I think it went like 680, 670, something like that. He was having problems with the gear spread on the 4L60E, right? Yeah. And before he had done it, it ran like Turbo 350, which actually has a really good gear spread, which is like 0.76 apart or 0.78 apart, but that 4L60E,
first to second,
the first gear is so bad that the converter wasn't even really flashing because it's so multiplied. Yeah. Right. And then you get into second, and it's like this huge step, 7,500 to 3,300, and it's like, man, how do I manage that power band? Yeah, because
nitrous.
Yeah, well, that's what he was doing, and it picked up quite a bit compared to how much he was spraying. Because I think he hit it with like 100 shot, and it picked up like a second and a half.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and he was having a hard time with that 4L60E. When I saw him last, he was saying that he was going to see if he could get a Turbo 350 or a Glide.
Okay, yeah. With the weight of that car and the way it is, a Glide would probably, if it's going to be an 8-mile car, a Glide would probably be the best. Oh, Vintage Adventure Drive says that his videos for the No Name Nationals were too numerous. I made my video, and it was 44 minutes and 39 seconds. I made 3 of them. One was like 27 minutes. One was like 35, and the other one was like 56 minutes. And I was like, am I really going to put a 56-minute video up there? Like, I've never done that. I try to keep mine under 15 minutes just because, I've only made two before that, which were like the small block Mopar ones, and they were like in the 25-30 minutes. And I was just like, man, no one's going to stay and watch this.
Dude, I'm like the world's worst YouTuber. Like, I do not take videos at these things. I did the first couple of years, and then I just never put them up. So I just stopped taking them. And I mean, I probably have, even on my phone right now, I probably have, I bet anywhere from 6 to 10 videos that I never edited and put up because I just didn't see any reason to it.
That'd be like the archive. You should make a video of just your archive stuff that never made it, like, because I have about four
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Fab Race Mod Repeat says, Shane, you didn't regulate it. You film a raw documentary for the uncut release. Exactly. That's really what I did. And it was just kind of like, if I said something wrong, it just was what it was. Luckily, some of it came out good, but some of it came out bad, but whatever.
Well, Mr. John Wilburn says, I'm way far behind. He says stainless is supposed to have a single 37-degree flare because it's more brittle. Yeah. I like it though.
Yeah, usually on stainless, he's right. Usually on stainless, you're going to make it's going to go to like an AN style fitting. It's not going to be a regular type of degree. Oh, here, Hot Rod guy says, at over 26 RPM drop between the first and second gear. Yeah, that is really the biggest issue with the 4L60E. But here's the thing. Sonex makes a gear set that makes it a 277 first gear. First gear, and like I think a 150 something or 160 something.
It actually becomes more comparable to the Turbo 350 spread. I totally forgot about that. I should have told him that because he built this one and it's pretty built. But what he needs is that high gear set, first gear set.
And the thing about it too is that it comes as billet. Not only are you going to lose the weight, but you're going to lose the moment of inertia too, because it comes it's much smaller unit and it has less rotating mass. So it also too, from the first to the second gear shift, it's not only the gear, but it's all that spin up of the clutch that it's pulling it down as this one's trying to speed back up, and it's a killer on the converter. People who run our converter transmissions 4L60s, I tell them launch in first. As soon as you pull second, hit the nitrous, and then that's basically your launch on the car. Just let her eat on the nitrous.
Indirect connection says, I have NICOP on the satellite so far. I'm not dead. Time will tell. The benefit that I can see from NICOP is that it would never rust. Copper does not rust. It doesn't break down, and neither does nickel.
Here he's saying, indirect connection saying, according to the internet, which is never wrong, both steel and NICOP have working PSIs of 4,200 pounds and burst PS. NICOP is 11,000. Wow. Almost 12,000. And steel is between 9 and 16. Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. Wouldn't even have thought like 11,000, 12,000. That's insane.
Let's see. Ron Ward is saying that I've had amazing luck with just good old steel line. I've recently used NICOP with the good results. I have a horrible time flaring stainless, even with my snap-on flaring kit. That was the problem I had. That's where I gave up on stainless. I can't remember. I think I was making nitrous lines out of it, and I had bought I think 3 or 4 different flaring tools from. At the time, I think I bought one. First one I bought was just from the parts store, cheapy Chinese parts store one, right? And then it didn't work. So then I ended up going to Harbor Freight, and I look at their expensive flaring tools. No bueno. I just couldn't get the stainless to work. Then I ended up buying one I saw the Matco guy driving down the street, and I freaking flagged him down, and I bought one off the Matco truck. You want to talk about disappointment when you buy one from the Matco truck that costs 30 times more, and then it still does the same thing as the Chinese junk one? I was pretty pissed. But
right. Especially nowadays, have you seen some of those videos where they're showing the Snap-on versus the Icon, and the Icon's kind of winning?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, they're like little shorts. Speaking of shorts, did you see that that Mr. Wilburn, I think, blew out a wheel bearing, his front, driver front?
He pulled in to change that right after you left in your spot, right?
Mhm.
that you were at No Name Nationals, the spot you were in at No Name Nationals.
Yeah.
He pulled in there once you left, and I was busy loading up. And the cool thing was you got loaded up and got out of there, and I had to fight off the infectious mosquito horde that absolutely destroyed me while I was trying to get loaded up. And I felt terrible because Russell Grimes from Hot Rod Guy Garage was talking to me about the Mustang, and I'm over there like, get away, and I was like, I gotta go, man, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
And I was in such a hurry, dude. You want to hear how terrible that was? I loaded up after 10,000 mosquito bites. I'm sure I got West Nile virus on top of malaria. I got malaria Nile virus, and I left that place. As soon as I pulled out in front of the track, and you get down to where that stoplight was, I turned right to head to town to like Minor, right? Which you're going up to like the first exit by the Dollar General and all that.
Yeah.
And it was dark, and I was just on the road, and there was a fucking pallet, like no shit, a pallet in the middle of the road, and I hit that sucker like 50 miles an hour. Well, next thing you know, I got no trailer lights, no trailer brakes, and I'm like, oh fuck. So I pull into Drury Inn in the parking lot. I crawl up under it, and I start like wire tying everything together, essentially, right? Like just stripping it back, put some electrical tape on it, and send it. And as I'm doing that, like the trailer is, I crawled up under there. I'm taping everything up. And the next thing you know, the trailer's sitting on my chest. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, great. Now I got a flat tire over on the passenger side. So I had to change a tire out because some ass wagon decided to like let a pallet fall out and then not pick it up.
Yeah.
I was so mad. Well, it was funny. I got home like 1:32 in the morning. And Dylan Levi says the next day, like, what asshole threw a freaking pallet on the road and left it? Like, how can they forget that? I'm like, they didn't forget that. It was raining. It was dark. They weren't going to mess with it. Too bad to be the next guy. And I was the next guy.
Yeah. And I guess I was reading the comments here. I guess a few people hit that too. And we had, as we're talking here, we got Mr. Jamie kind of rolled in here. And
did he?
Yeah, he's right here. I actually agree with him. I think the Valiant Thrash, that was probably that, and I don't know, man. It comes down to his thrash and Jamie's thrash on the transmission. Those were the two like highlights. If he could have made a pass in the Triple Crown, that would have just been insane. I mean, I would have just loved that. I would have thought that would have been great.
Well, mostly old parts from War saying, who in their twisted freaking mind decided that green coated brake line is the bomb? You can't flare it with the coating on it. And stripping the coating off takes an act of Congress.
No, brake clean. Just hit it with brake clean, comes right off.
Mexican Spec is saying, why didn't I chemically strip the roof? I probably should have. I don't have any stripper, and I have got a whole bunch of 100 grit sandpaper though that the boys from Bad Tree Productions gave me like 3-4 years ago, and I've just been blowing through it.
We're gonna bounce around here, but Junker D saying that he kind of felt like he missed half the event, which he did, but the thrash was the best part of it. You know what the funny thing is? I had no idea that was even happening down there. Because
me neither. I would have jumped in, dude.
Me too. Exactly, because there was a couple nights there where I couldn't sleep. Like my kids were asleep, and I'm just sitting there. I was like, I can't go outside because
Well, that's how it was that night. I literally sat around waiting to go to. Remember, I told you I tried to go to sleep and I couldn't sleep, so I ended up just sitting at the booth. And everybody was walking by. It's like 11 o'clock or whatever. Had I known that was really going on, I would have been all over that.
Oh, me too, man. Because the first thing I would have done is, like, when everybody's working on the engine, I would have been literally doing the wiring on that, because I already know that those things have such a problem. Put it on a switch. I would have been like, power on, MSD's on, push a button, or even touch two wires together, make it start.
That's one of those things where you could have just ran a hot wire over to the ignition since it had an MSD, and then just jumper it with a screwdriver. Let her it was just running. So,
but the thing is, though, is that he didn't have time, because the last two cars went down, and then I got the thing saying, "Hey, that car died," and Jamie was telling me, "Hey, he's dead." So then I was like, "Okay, well, I guess you're racing home, boy." And he goes, "Great." So, but yeah, that was it was, if we'd have had, like, say 10 more minutes, I think it would have been one of those deals. We could have got it running. But I just wish I would have known that whole thrash was going around because, yeah. And also, too, Jamie worked on his car and then went and worked on his car on his own.
Yeah. He worked on that Junkyard D's Valiant like for hours and then went over to the garbage can CUDA and blew that tranny apart.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it's called? Is garbage can?
I think so.
Yeah. Jamie, if you're still in here, me and Dallas were talking about your car, and we both loved it. I got to tell you, man, we just loved it.
The only thing that I wish we should have done when we were weighing in the cars, we should talk to everybody else that was competing and just let you run at minimum weight. But I don't know if you could have stripped anything out to get it down to like 2,700 pounds.
No, he was like, I think he was like only 40 pounds, close to 3,000 with him in it. So it was actually heavier than I thought it would be. But it was. That's why 4 or 5 gallons of gas, and he was able to get 3,006 out of it. So he dumped it in there and called it good.
Tom Brown saying, Dallas, did I send you the 2 videos I found from Precision Transmissions that did the manual shift turbo 350 mods? If not, I will send them again. I don't think you did, but you may have. I got a lot of stuff. What's funny is every time I go on a trip, that's when it's like everybody gets the inkling to like send me stuff. And that's when I do not look at my phone like at all. So it'll all build up. I'll get like 27 messages and 3 phone calls. And I didn't even look at it while I was gone the whole weekend at No Name Nationals, really.
Yeah. Junker D saying this. He goes, it was running. I drove it down the road, around the pits. Then the gremlins took over and the magic smoke came out in the staging lanes. Literally, I remember I heard it running. Then it shut off, and then they got it running again. And then I heard them driving it around. I heard it revving, and I'm like, "Oh man, this is awesome! What a Cinderella story this is going to be, right?" And
I thought it would be amazing because that would be what everybody remembered from the first thing at Triple Crown.
Yes, exactly. But it's still a story now. But he made a pass in that, didn't he? Didn't he make a pass?
I think he did later on because he got it running later on that weekend.
Yeah. So Jamie's saying that, yep, the garbage can CUDA, it's getting lettered soon, I hope. Thanks, guys. I love that car. It's a ton of fun. Make it faster next time. Here's the thing is that me and Dallas were like, both of us have pretty fast cars, and I have to work on mine constantly. And then, it's just, it's like at that level where it's not really that much fun. But a car like that, back when I was running, like, say, 13 to 11 seconds, in the quarter mile, I would just love to have something that had a stick shift in it just to have fun again. Like,
Well, we talked about this like 1,000 times, dude.
I know. But, man, I'm just saying it again because it's so.
I want to go backwards. I do. That's what that's this whole Southeast Gassers super stock Buick was for, was to go backwards to where you show up with the car on the trailer, you go out do some burnouts. I want to have a stick shift because I want it to be just as much fun for me in the car as it is for the spectator to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And I don't care if I ever win anything. I don't care if I ever nothing. I want to just go down the track and enjoy what I'm doing and be in with a group of people that are like-minded doing the same thing, And that's why I always seem to do well with like guys like Bobby Frizzell, and they're all kind of the same like-minded, just like Andy Wood, It's like, it's about having fun, the enjoyment of the automotive, I guess it'd be hobby.
That's what this car's for. That's exactly what this car's for.
0 fucks given for that car because it's just a like hacked pile, right?
Well, it's not going to be a hacked pile when I'm done. I'm telling you, I'm trying to make it right, and that's why it's taken so long. Because every time I turn around, there's something new that I'm like, I don't want to go down the drag strip with this car. Even if let's just say I'm running a 7, I still don't want to do that in some of these things that I'm finding, and that's kind of why I'm holding off on making sure everything's right on Plan Z before I actually take it down the track because it's a little scary, and I want to make sure that I'm not super scared with it.
Well, so up from there, Rabbit Transit Garage says, so do you anticipate and changes to the Triple Crown class? Any changes to the Triple Crown class? So I would say right now that's kind of up in the air. If we refine anything, it's just going to be something that will just narrow up the class instead
Yeah.
of having such a large spread between the cars. And also something that would be like encouragement to somebody to drive their car in there and race it.
Hmm.
That was what we were looking at. Was we would like to narrow down the field some, not so much like narrow down like eliminate cars, but narrow down the field so there isn't such a large spread between them. Well, it wasn't actually that bad.
No.
It was about a second. It was a second between all the cars, essentially.
But you know
It-
what's funny is we thought the fastest cars would be right at the 7 second, not really into the sixes, and that's exactly what it was. It
that's
was
where they found.
literally, yeah, 7:14. What was the average? Like 7:50, 7:60 was
Well,
the
I
average.
mentioned if you average it all out, it probably wouldn't. Well, there was two cars in the sevens. One was running 740s, and the other one or 730s, and the other one was running 713. Is
Oh,
the
okay,
fastest pass it made. But then you had a lot of them fell around
8:0.
810, 820. But I don't know if anybody else got in the sevens that weekend.
Okay, yeah, and it was really cool too. My one more thing I'm going to say about it is that my twins got their very first pass down the drag strip in Mr. Haney. So that was awesome. I thought that was with Mr. Cope. So I thought that was amazing. To have them. They talked about that the whole ride home until they fell asleep. And even today, we were having dinner just today, and they were talking about uh, it being better than Mr. Freeze at Six Flags. So
Dude, I just know that whole weekend was such a good time, man. And like, so Dead Dodge Garage said he did make a pass. I won, so it was Junkyard D and Dead Dodge Garage lined up
okay,
and made a pass, and Jamie pulled off the win. The thing that I like about it was like, you know, I guess it's always the group of people that makes it amazing, right? So you got
mhm.
like Jason Falk running around trying to help everybody else out, right?
Everyone.
Yeah, and well, Shane was doing the same. I mean, he ended up rebuilding Jason Falk's carburetor on his wife's car so it would run right, you know. And I think that was remember last year I did that for Clint Street Machines. I rebuilt that Q-Jet right there in the pits,
Yeah.
so his truck would run good. There was just all kinds of stuff that's what makes it amazing. Is you know, well, One-Eyed Cat and his brother Ron showed up, and they're like, "Hey, man, you and Polito breaking our cam," and we're like, I wasn't planning that, but I mean, we could probably do it."
Sure, why
Uh,
not?
and
Which
so,
was actually good because he got on the carburetor, I got on the timing. We had Jason once again on the cooling, and we were able to start it. And once we got fuel in the damn thing, it stayed running, and we actually got a decent break in on it. So,
yeah. So, Dead
so
Dodge Garage is saying 4-speed is the way. Yes, Sega cars are a huge inspiration for that car. That's exactly what my '63 Buick was supposed to be, a Superstock, Sega Superstock class car. The only problem is they changed the rules 27 times a month before I even got the car put together, and I'd have to stop what I'm doing, change something else, and then go back, and then I never got to finish it. Then, divorce and life got in the way and all that stuff. So it's just been sitting. But now the plan is to do just like you did with your garbage can CUDA. I was going to run the Triple Crown, but I wanted my car. I guess I need to probably put the video together and put everybody back on track and what it really was. I wanted it to look like I literally pulled it out of my garage, that my grandpa had built it in 1965 or 64.
yeah,
And it looks exactly like it did from 1964. And I built it with authentic parts. If you see Dakota in here, I bought a set of wheels from Dakota that were Krager SS direct drills from 67. That was the idea, was I wanted direct drills because slotted ones, they don't look the part. And if you get anything new, they got that flat face on them instead of them being rounded like they were originally in the 60s. So, I took some serious time to put this thing together, and it's definitely interesting and different. But
Ron
yeah,
saying that he says he had a great time at the Triple Crown show. I mean, his only fear is become purpose-built class where the almighty dollar reigns supreme. Here's the thing, though, is that me and Dallas were just talking about that. I'm not going to give away any things, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to implicate some little things here and there, so that way this doesn't happen. Because you've only got 3 or 4 years before usually the I don't know use but the ringers come in. That's usually
Well,
how it normally works.
so when I first started doing the AHRA, I heard something that was really smart when I talked to the guys that originally had done the AHRA stuff, because there was a lot of them that hit me up right after I started doing that. When I was doing it on a weekly basis and I came out with a GT class, a lot of the guys were like, look, here's the rule of thumb. Don't change anything for the first 2 years because you want to get as many cars invested as possible and have fun and enjoy it and then really like it. And then after the second year, you change the rules to narrow it down to keep the ringers from coming in and just destroying the class. But there's also a caveat. Shane and I have talked about from the get-go that Triple Crown, we did not want to have a big payout. And when you have a big payout, what happens is it brings the hammers. The guys will build a car for $30,000 and come in and win $5,000, and they feel good about themselves. And then you get somebody else like Tanner there probably built his car for maybe $3,000,
Yeah.
and he's not having fun because the ringer comes in and just ruins the class.
Yeah.
The idea was to keep it where it's centered around an enjoyable, cost-effective class. I don't know what Jamie had in his car, but I seriously doubt it was anything over $5,000. He probably had the most money in machine work in the engine and possibly buying gears for it, like, where because I think he slick shifted that 833, I think he told me. I don't know if it was face plated and slick shifted or whatever, but I think it was, he probably had some money in the tranny. The rest of the car was just kind of low buck stuff. Right?
Yeah.
But
which made it awesome.
Vintage Adventure Drives, which is Tanner says right here, I went out there with my potentially 13-second quarter-mile car and had the time of my life with my buddies. That's what it means to me.
Yeah.
Right? So that's at 729. And I'm going to screenshot that, dude, because that is an excellent thing to say.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's really what I want to get back with this one. Because every year I brought a different car except for this year. This last year I brought the Cookie Monster 2 years in a row. But this next year the Plan Z is going to be my car. I'm going to be bringing that one. What's it going to do? I don't know, but we'll see.
Coach Greg says he's hauling across South Dakota right now, so I apologize if I'm not seeing everybody's responses and stuff, but I will say I had the most fun ever at No Name Nationals. That's awesome. That's exactly what it's intended for.
Yes.
John, when John came to me with the idea of he wanted to have a cookout with his friends at the drag strip in the middle of the country, right? And I'm like, I just so happen to have a track working with AHRA in the middle of the country. And the thing was, if you went to the Slanted Nationals, which happened in what, 21? I think 21.
Yeah, it was 21.
The Slanted Nationals was a format that I had come up with over the course of 3 years of running the AHRA, that I wanted to try a format that would work for almost anything. And when John came to me with that idea, it was the perfect time to implement that format that I used from the Slanted Nationals and use it on a larger scale. The Slanted Nationals was my test platform, and it was just a small number of people with a small number of cars, and I knew I was going to take a loss on it because I was targeting it towards, if it was screwed up, it's easy to manage just a few people, right? But if you get out there and it's all screwed up and you got 3,000 people waiting for you, well, no one's coming back.
Yeah.
So it was like I wanted to get the test bed done, figure out the format and refine it, and then we applied it to No Name Nationals, and you want it to be community and inclusive. That's what I think is missing from the drag strip these days, is there is no real inclusiveness. There's the haves and the have-nots. And I've noticed when I was a kid going to the drag strip, the track was generally made up of, I'd say, equal parts of both, right? You had the haves and the have-nots. But somewhere along the line, the have-nots got kicked to the curb by all the haves that had all the electronics, the wizardry, the doodads that made their shit run dead on the dial for bracket racing, or made, if you were doing heads-up racing, made it absolutely impossible for the have-not to participate. So the idea was to bring that back, was to make it to where anyone could participate. Anyone had a fair standing, and you could just enjoy yourself. And that's what it was all about.
Vintage Adventure Drive says Wallace Racing's eighth mile stats calculator says his 318 was putting down 275 horsepower. He says he's very impressed. Makes as much power as my dad's 351 Windsor powered Mustang. And that, I got to tell you, man, when you did your burnout, and I think it was in the second round, he did a burnout and he rolled all the way up.
Oh, man, yeah, like we were doing, like right through the lights and everything.
That was awesome, man. If you watch my video, I was cheering for you because I was like, yeah, because I thought that was awesome, man.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be. Remember, like that's what me and you were doing last year, was you give people something to watch, right? Like if you're going to go up there and do a burnout, why just do the burnout to get the tires hot? Why don't you do the burnout to get everyone excited on their feet, right? And that's where, we got lost in the translation of the drag race.
Yeah. I did a half track burnout this year too. I did a Friday. I did a burnout, and it was kind of weak. And then you're like, "Hey man, did you even do a burnout?" I was like, "Well, yeah." And then so the second time I went up there, you were behind me. I was like, "Well, I'm going to do a burnout this time." And I rolled that thing all the way up past the 330 mark, and I had to back it all the way back
up. That's the hardest part, is backing it up.
Yeah, I still have
burnouts, and I like doing the dry hops. Yeah, I don't think people get it when you do those.
I like those, Matt. I have a video of you doing one of those. It's on one of those those videos. I was standing right there, and you're all whoop, and you could see the whole suspension move. And I was like, that was the coolest thing ever, because I was standing right there.
Well, like I told you, back in the 60s and 70s, the whole idea is that, look, I got a race car. It's so jazzed up and fucking animalistic that I can't contain it. I'm literally going to put it on the line, and it's barely going to be able to be contained, and then you let her eat, right? Yeah. And that's what gets people excited about it.
We're not going to change the rules that much. If we're going to do anything at all, it's going to be very slight. Build what you're building. It's going to be nothing that's really going to impact
it. Probably won't affect you at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What it is to encourage participation from the person to be able to drive in it, like right off the street. Because if you notice, there was a definitive difference between your cars from SSR Performance and the other cars that were there, which was primarily slicks. Yeah. And what we were going to do is try to make it to where it was a little bit more even with the street tire guys.
Yeah.
Which I know is almost impossible because they'll never 60 foot.
No.
Right. But.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that was fun, man. Just build what you're going to build, man. And like I said, none of the rules are going to change that much. It's going to be, everyone's still going to run the same type of stuff, but it's just going to be, as far as some of the weight breaks might be just a little different. That's all it's going to be. And whatnot. Sorry, I'm getting caught up here because we were really far.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. Right, Ron Ward at 7:32 says, "I think we had a great Triple Crown show. My only fear is that it becomes a purpose." Oh, that's the one you just read a bit ago. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah.
I'm like worst.
Andy says technology has killed racing for the average guy. Davis box, you can race down a dirt road. Exactly. And that's the whole thing too, is that we're trying to keep all those electronics out of the Triple Crown and make it so that way anybody can just bring their car in there and be competitive. Besides the SSR cars, there was 2 cars that went down and they were literally neck and neck.
Yeah, that was that Firebird and like the I think it's a 64 CUDA from Michael Myrick.
And I got to tell you, I know Dal said it the best, but I was thinking the same thing. They were probably looking at each other, scooching their seats. And
the guy's barely moving next to you.
Yeah, right.
That's
funny.
Yeah, John Cope is saying our community is the best. It is.
Mr. Cope's in here. How you doing, Cope? Hey, Cope, I wanted to say thanks again for taking my kids down the drag strip, man. They still are talking about that to this day. I don't know if you heard me say that earlier, but just before dinner, we had dinner here before this. They were talking, man, that was so much fun. I can't wait to go back next year. This and that. And, I got to push the button. I was telling all my friends at school and they were just so happy. So happy. And because their friends, they're kind of horty-torty. They don't like, oh, you got to do that. He goes, yes, but have you ever been on Mr. Freeze, the roller coaster? And they're like, yeah. And he goes, it's better than that.
Did I ever tell you like why it hit me up? I like, Dad, I want to go on a roller coaster. I've never been on one. So we went over to like Dollywood,
Uh-huh.
and we went to like the first two, and there was a big long line. So I'm like, oh, there's a third one. Let's go check out the third one. I can't remember the name of the third one, but it was like a drag race name. It was a cool freaking drag race name. But I want to say like Slingshot or something. I can't remember what. Dude, it was so freaking scary. I almost pooped my pants, right? And my son, this is literally like the first time he's ever been on one.
That's awesome.
And he was so scared. He wouldn't even go back on the other two.
Vintage Adventure Drive says,
really
my buddy wants to bring a car associated with my channel if he gets to, and I'm making him run Triple Crown. That's awesome.
Well, get him a channel rolling, man. This is what it's all about. Is like I'll tell you something that there wasn't too many bright things that I ever inherited from Tony DeFeo, but one of them was a tide raises all ships, right? And a rising tide raises all ships. And it's like, if we get the community within the automotive YouTube community within YouTube engaged, and that's what you're seeing at the No Name Nationals is the community that we have built. And it wasn't just from like Wednesday Night TikTok Live. It was John Wilburn. It was we knew people. It was live shows that others used to do, like
Tony's Hot Rod Garage.
Tony's Hot Rod Garage. Dust Devil Garage used to do lives that were like 6 hours long, and we all would kind of be in on it. And what happened is we all kind of congregated to one area, and then just started having fun with it.
Levi is saying something awesome here. He goes, "Thank you, Ron. I really liked Triple Crown class. So Brooke is racing something there. Mark my words." So there you go.
Awesome.
So that means Brooke is going to be racing. That's going to be awesome. Yeah. Okay. So no doubt Speed Shop Triple Crown has to do with engine size and car weight. Yes. If you go, is it Square? What's the No Name National?
I think you can just look at nonamenationals.com. I think it comes up, but it is weight to cubic inch.
Yes, it is.
So it's 9 pounds. The thing is, it's the minimum cubic inch essentially is like 300, but we let Dead Dodge Garage slide just because the car was literally built for the class, just not enough cubes. It was 277 cubic inch, but he seemed excited. He was kind of underpowered. We should have just taken all the weight restrictions off of him. Like literally, like run whatever you want, dude. Take anything out of it. But
his tire though, it would have been fair to everyone else. He had the tire.
Right. It was weight to cubic. It is 9 pounds. It's weight to cubic inch. It goes from 300 to 368 cubic inches, and it's heads up first to the finish line on a pro tree. And it was absolutely probably one of the most fun things to watch. In my regards, we did have a 28-10-5 class, and it was okay to watch. But I think that Triple Crown has a little bit of different ambiance to it
because it's people in our community. It's not outsiders,
right? Well, I don't know. I would say that the 28-10-5 was never outsiders. It was just like.
The last year was.
The disparity between all the cars was just drastic.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And last year it kind of came to a head where it was like no one could compete in there unless they spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And so we're like, you know what? Before this just runs away to where it's no fun to even participate, let's just create something that's wholly centric around No Name Nationals. And that's what Shane and I did. We talked about it. He said we talked about it on his way to work. We literally talked about it every day on his way to work for like 2 weeks. 3 weeks. It was longer than that, you think?
Yeah, it was months before. Now, 2 weeks is when we actually decided we're going to do this and write the rules. But we just kept saying, man, we should do this. Man, we should do that. And we kept coming up with all these different engine combinations and these different car combinations. And we were building all the combinations every morning on our talks. And then it was just kind of like, let's just make this the class. Why don't we just do this? And let's just see what happens, And
so one thing I do want to put to bed here, because this was brought up the other day.
Sure.
Dougster Wolverine Garage says the fastest pass was 585, Mr. Lout. That's not true. Shane ran a 570, like 577.
577 to 125.
Dylan Levi ran a 585.
Yeah. He did and then he backed it up with a 5. He did a 585 with someone in the car. Then he did a 587 on his own. And then I think he did like a 590 something. But then after that, he just couldn't get back into the fives because the track had gone away. And I had to take power out of my car just to get to the 570s. I had to take 150 horsepower, 100 horsepower, sorry, out of the car to get it there. In fact, I had to back the timing off. I took a 50 kit out of it, and I was even pulling out more timing. And I was running 20% the nitrous on the launch and a 3%, 3-second ramp. It was hard to get down that track. And even Levi comes over and he goes, "Man, that was pretty good." And I was like, I felt it shook the tires all the way past the 330 mark, and I was just like, man, whew. I normally run about 15 pounds in the tires. I was down to 14 on that last pass, and it shook the tires.
So Need Metal is saying, is the turnout getting bigger each year? I can't say that. I would have to say it's probably about the same. This year was down quite a bit, but it was like we kind of foresaw that was going to happen because there was a lot of people having like life issues. You know, it was just like somebody's parent died, somebody's significant other died or left. It was just bad life issues this year, I guess. And we were saying, Shane was like, this is going to be the mulligan year. This is going to be the mulligan year, you know, and 2026 is going to be the year. And yeah, it was. I'm trying to catch up now. I'm like a half an hour behind. Dead Dodge Garage is saying they scrounged a ton of stuff. Transmission was all used, cut factory gears. I think I ended up with $4 or $5K in the engine. Whole car, maybe $7 to $8 grand. I got stupid with money in the last weeks to get it done. And that's what normally happens, dude. And you just want to be so done with it, you just throw money at it, right?
Start throwing dollars at it, yeah. Yeah. SSR Performance House, how do you make a 277 Mopar engine? Goes, I'm clueless on Mopars. It's a 273, and I believe it's 30 or 40 over.
I think it was 40 over, I think.
40 over, yeah. So it's a 273. So just like a Chevrolet 280, 289, or no, it's a Ford, a 283, just like that. It's just a really small engine that they had back in the day. It's 273. Yeah.
Ron Ward saying that while I worked at NMCA, True Street was $100 to win. Guys like Tom Heatley, Frank Soldridge, and Jeff Knox brought killer cars that ran deep in the sevens in the quarter. Money for no payout. Yeah, but this one also has, you've got to have 500 YouTube subscribers to get in this sucker.
Yeah. Junker D saying, Shane, Dead Dodge Garage might have some extra parts for Plan Z to lighten it up, the car, make some more. I don't want it any lighter. I'm actually trying to put some weight into it because I'm trying to make it stronger. Because Tony's right. There's nothing lighter than a hole. But he put too many in this thing. And there's a lot of rust around those holes. So there's sometimes no integrity to hold parts anymore because you have holes and then rust. So it wants to move right there. And that's where I'm having an issue with trying to find that balance of putting the strength back into it. And like right now, you can see I have a cage, a roll bar right here. I haven't put it in because right where you normally would weld it to that, there's rust there. So I'm having to plate that whole section in so that way I could put that down and weld it to the subframe connectors in the back there. And then I'm going to put kickers that come down and go down to the tunnel. But I just want to make it safe. That's the whole idea, is make it safe for myself.
I'm trying to catch up. I'm doing pretty good. Vintage Adventure Drive says, I knew with the Triple Crown that I was in over my head, so I just figured I'd put on a good show.
Perfect.
That's so last year at No Name Nationals, not this past one, but the one in 24. Shane and I were running 28-10-5, and all the hitters came in, right? All the hitters. I drew Yielding, which was like a hitter, like probably the hittiest hitter. I don't know. He had a fast car. I drew him first round. And I went back to the pits. I was like so bummed out, right? Like, dude, I get to make one pass. I mean, this car runs like 470s or something. And I got I'm like barely eking out 620s, right?
Well, actually, before you say that, we drew first. The first time we drew,
Oh yeah,
guess who I drew?
yeah, it was me and Shane.
We drew each other, and then luckily I was like, "Dude, what?" And then we
Oh,
had
and
to
then we're like,
redraw.
hey, we got one coin missing, so everybody's got to put it back in, and we're like, oh, thank God. And then I pulled yielding, right? I'm like, you know, and I was walking back to the pit, and Shane was like, dude, you don't look so happy. I said, I'm not happy, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to get my doors caved in, but everyone is going to be talking about what I'm going to do. Watch this
Yeah.
shit. And we got back to the pits, and I pulled the travel limiters off, and then I told him, I said, look, I'm going to go up there. It's instant green. I'm going to roll this. I'll be the second one in the beams. He'll be so eager to just chop my head off because he wants to get such a good light, and he'll be so eager to chop my head off. He won't realize that I'm the last one rolling in, and I'm going to count to 2 and just let it eat. I didn't care if I was going to red light, whatever, right? It's almost impossible to red light on an instant green.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I got up there, rolled in the lights. It was like 1,000, 2, 1, and I just let that sucker go. And it took off. And as the front end was coming up, I saw the green light come on. And I'm like, yielding, if you don't have your shit together, you are going home. Right?
And then after he did that, he goes, hey, man, did you win? I was like, yeah. And he goes, you know what? I went up there. I counted to 2 and let her eat. And I was like, okay. So I went up there, counted 2, and I just let her eat when I was up there with the Intimidator.
And he put bus links on that next.
Bus links on him, yeah. Someone's asking here and texting here, why didn't you and Joe race? Here's what happened between me and Joe. On Saturday, he did the bracket race on Friday, so there was going to be no race there because he wanted to keep his car tuned. Saturday morning, he came over and I flowed his fuel system. So that way we could make sure that his system was exactly right. It was a Zex system, and I know those pretty intimately because I designed nitrous for Edelbrock. And one of them is the Zex system. So I got his flow set up. We went out there and I videotaped it. You can actually see it in some of the videos there. I think it was on the day 3. His problem is that his engine makes so much torque, and then adding that much more torque with the nitrous, it was actually just going right through the converter. And the same thing was kind of happening that happened last year, is that he didn't really pick up anything. It sounds great. It's 60 foot's great, but he's just going right through the converter. So then we tried a couple different settings and tried a few different things. And then it sounded better. We tried the other lane, but it just didn't pick up. And there was just really no point in racing at that point, because what's it going to prove? You know what I mean? He was just having trouble getting off using the nitrous. So, and he really wanted to get into the 5s, man. We worked at that thing hard, him and his Drew. But that's the main reason why we didn't, just because what's the point at that point? There was such a disparity between us, almost 4/10. But I can tell you, if his engine didn't make as much torque as it did, and he run the nitrous, it would have been a much better race, because he literally was just going right through that his converter, and he was even short shifting it. The second time he went up there, I said, man, just try to short shift it. He went up, I think it was like 5,500 RPM. He just kept short shifting it, and it was still going through the converter. He picked up, but it still went through it. So that's the reason why we didn't race.
I didn't race anybody. My third gear was flaring up so bad. I was just happy to have the car back, and I was afraid that it was just going to scatter the dang thing. And I still have good parts in there. Like, I'd like to use the converter out of it and put it in a Turbo 400. But after I cut it all up and make it work, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't race anyone that whole time. I was hoping to, but I think I only made 3 passes. Oh, here we go. Ron's second tech question. Shane, for those of us who don't drive our fun cars much during the winter, do you recommend Stabil or another fuel stabilizer? I use Stabil 100%, and I actually use, locally here we have what I call diet fuel. It's the non-ethanol fuel. It's just like 88 octane, and I put that in the wife's car and my green car, and it literally stays good. It's that ethanol that keeps burning out and varnishes, but the diet fuel and Stabil, totally fine. But yes, I definitely use Stabil. And here's another thing too: fill the tank up, so that way there's no way for it to build moisture or anything inside the tank.
There's no air
Yes.
in the tank to have moisture.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever you're going to store it with a full tank. It's always better. Always better. Um, yeah, but yeah, Stayville, 100%. I still drive my cars during the winter. I just don't care. I mean, I love my green car and I love the wife's car, the Beaver and the Lizard King, but they are what they are. They were $1,500, $2,000 cars in California, 4 doors. So I drive them. That's just what they are.
Dougster Wolverine Garage says, I wanted to see the Wicked Chicken take on Two Hacks T-Bird sometime. Jeff and I had planned that quite a few times, especially get the starting line lead where we're both up in the air. That's what we wanted to do, but it's just never worked out. It's like I think
He blew his
honestly,
ring
both of
opinion.
them, he broke something both times.
He broke his ring opinion on the second pass. I think he made one pass, or maybe it was on the first pass or second pass. He broke the ring opinion.
Yeah, and then the last time he was there, I think there was the trainee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a heavy vehicle, man.
Transmission went bad. Man, I just haven't had any luck. And now the trainee's flaring up really bad. And if you guys didn't know, like my T-Bird has a C4 in it, which is not designed for like 750, 800 horsepower. It's like, it's not.
Yeah.
It can't handle that. And it's really high gear. All the Ford C4s are like high gear problems. If it sounds like this, you have a problem with your transmission.
Shane Plan Z parts for Did Dodge Garage Barracuda? No. I can't remember who I gave them to, but I brought a bunch of Plan Z parts up there. The whole front suspension.
Didn't Tanner grab that?
Was it Tanner? Okay, maybe it was Tanner. But yeah, you know what you forgot, Tanner, though, is you forgot the proportioning valve. But literally it was the upper control arms, the brakes and everything. And I gave it all away. Yeah. I'm actually putting stuff on it that's going to be a little safer.
Well, so Ron Ward saying Jeff killed a 2-month-old Curry 9-inch. He ain't happy about it. I'm sure he's not. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Like when you go drag racing and you build a project the first time, like that car weighs like a zillion pounds. That motor makes a ton of torque, right? Then you're multiplying it through a torque converter.
Yeah.
And that poor rear end just couldn't hang, which I don't think I've ever seen anybody destroy a Curry 9-inch, but Jeff Two Hacks wins the award, right? He went home too early.
Here's the comment of the afternoon. Jamie, if you're still on here, I think Jamie should call his car Bart, the Barracuda Dart. So it's Bart. That's actually really good. That's clever. Yeah, that's clever.
Lout Burns is asking, did Pop Scott run his Charger? No, it was more or less just kind of a showpiece down at the end. They drove it around a few times, but that was it. They did tech it like they were going to run it, but I don't think I ever saw that thing run. Did you?
I never saw it. No, I was waiting for it because I wanted to, that. Here's the thing is that you could hear that car run and knew it was a Hemi. And me and Deke were sitting there and I was like, Deke, you can tell that that's a Hemi. And he goes, absolutely. And then I said, and then it would be a 440 go by and he said, that's a wedge. And he goes, yeah, Hemi has this very, very distinct sound to it. And you could hear that in that car.
Vintage Adventure Drives asks, Shane, what's the difference between the E Street and RPM heads for big block Mopars?
Yeah, there's basically, it's just a valve job, really. The ports are the same, everything.
Dougster Wolverine Garage says, yes, Pops ran the Hemi Charger.
He did?
Yeah. I didn't see it.
Yeah, basically the only thing between the E Street and the RPM is literally the ports are identical. Everything's the same. It's just a valve job, the valves. Some of the components, like the springs, are not top of the line springs. They're not the best retainers. So a lot of people will buy the E Street if they're going to be buying like changing out the springs and retainers anyways, because it's literally the same thing.
Oh well, so I guess there was quite a few passes. I never saw that thing make a pass. Vintage Adventure said I saw the Hemi Charger run down the strip. It ran 78 miles an hour through the traps. Dead Dodge Garage says Hemi Charger went down the track twice, I believe. And then Ron Moore says Mike from Scott's Speed Shop ran the car at least 4 times. He was grinning ear to ear.
So I gave away a Cookie Monster T-shirt, right? And so I forgot to ask Ron about this. I went up there and I dropped it off, and I said, just figure out something to give this. Just whatever trivia you want to do it. He says, oh, the Cookie Monster T-shirt recipient was very happy. Great design, Shane. That was actually something I found, and then it was Tony at Gunslinger Graphics is the one who made that. So yeah, I sent him the artwork and he came up with it. So if you like the Cookie Monster and you want to kind of help support make that car going faster and faster, go over to Gunslinger Graphics and get it yourself a Cookie Monster T-shirt, because man, I'm telling you, Slant Daily Garage and then at Gunslinger Graphics and Cookie Monster T-shirt, because it helps out. Because yeah, it was cool. And my kid, did you see my kid in his little Cookie Monster outfit?
Oh yeah, handing out cookies.
It was no, he was selling cookies for $1.
Oh. Tom Brown says, "What was the fastest time for the Triple Crown this year?" Fastest car there was a 7:13, I think is what it ran, and that's what we kind of figured it was going to run, low sevens, high six.
Yeah,
and it'll probably get better and better every year. It'll get faster and faster.
yeah. And one more thing too is that Hot Rod Guy's Garage. I agree with this. When we walked over there, Dallas was telling me it had a 300 in it, and as we were walking up there, we saw that it had an LS in it. And literally at the last minute, the 12th hour, they changed that thing to and put an LS in it because they had a problem with it. So yes, I agree. I got to give kudos to that, because he said they literally swapped it in and then drove it.
Yep, Russell was all about making it there, and it was supposed to be his test for Six Smokies. So that's what it was all about. He drove the car there with the trailer.
Yeah.
If you guys
And
didn't
I
know
think
that.
everybody should do that too. Really, they should. Everyone should do that at least once, because that makes it fun. And
So John, I was just going to say that we're having a 3-pedal party at the No Name Nationals at 26.
yes,
I'll be 3-pedaling it. I will have that Buick there.
there might be 3 pedals in this car. Who knows? There might be. I do have a Ford top loader. It's in California, but I do have a Ford top loader. So,
Oh, is that what you want to run in that?
oh, dude, yeah. You know, Ford top loader I bought. You remember Freiberger, Dave Freiberger's old? Remember when they got the poor man's Jericho, and one of those videos way back when, and he was doing full throttle shifts with a Ford top loader. I
Uh-huh.
bought that transmission. That's the one I bought from him.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
3.
that's the one I have. Now it's in California at my friend's house. I just didn't have any room to bring stuff back. I still got 2 cars in California too. Nowhere to put them here, but you know. Ron saying 3 pedals, no waiting.
Let's see.
Oh, Junkyard D. Junkyard D got the Cookie Monster T-shirt. Awesome. So, yeah, I'm glad that you got that, man. That makes my day. That's awesome.
Oh,
Jamie's like, you have my attention. I agree. I think that would be awesome. Let's see if I run my inner challenge. See if there's any more that I missed here. Man, they're coming in fast.
yeah. And Bobby Frizzell saying 3 pedals is the only way to go. Real race cars have 3 pedals.
Mm-hmm.
John Wilburn says, "I want a big stick bracket and some heads-up stuff with a little prize money. Let's see if we can get 20+ stick cars in Sykeston next year." You know, the first year at No Name Nationals, I think it was it Brewer's Garage, Brewer's Performance that had those stick cars the first year.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I think that's who it was. Or
Yeah.
was it? Maybe it was Mark from Bigfoot's and Mopar. I don't remember who had them. Somebody had the Jack Pine Savage car. Whoever had that.
Levi's saying, if I got traction, we could have competed with Shane, but we were returning for the track surface. Shane had low ET and deserved for the title for sure. Here's the thing, Dylan. If I could have got traction too, it would have been a much different story, because I can tell you right now, I have no problem telling everyone. I ran a 558 in that car at Jackson, and I not in that setup. I had a different nitrous system on it, but I did tell Joe that I would run him the exact same setup as I brought. Now, I did run a 550 with that setup, but I was running a big shot of nitrous out of the hole. I wasn't running in different stages. And I was able to, at Jackson, it was a radial prep track, so I was able to do it. There was no way that I was going to be able to do that at Sykeston that day. Literally, I had only had 150 shot in that car, and it literally took it all out. So. But I
Well,
can tell you, Dylan, if we had traction, there would have been a much different number than 77 up there,
I
bud.
was hoping to get down into the fives, but I couldn't get the car to hook up at the 60-foot mark.
Yeah.
Right? Um, John Wilburn says that 2026 will be the biggest and best year yet. I have big
Okay.
plans. Stay tuned.
Awesome. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. Just remember, John, that people are they love the Triple Crown. So we're bringing more Triple Crown cars, and people are building Triple Crown stuff.
I will have
But
my
if
Buick there. I literally have 1 year from now to get it finished. I was hoping to make it to the Buick Nationals. I don't know if it's attainable, but I know next year I will have my 63 Buick at No Name Nationals running in Triple Crown. Now, is it going to be the fastest? I don't care. Is it going to be a pile? Is it going to blow up? Probably. I hope not, but whatever happens, happens.
So if you guys don't know it, my kid went over to the ice cream guy and asked on Friday for Cookie Monster ice cream. He goes, "Do you have Cookie Monster?" He goes, "No." So then the guy goes home, makes it, brings Cookie Monster ice cream on Saturday. My kid comes over super excited. He goes, "Daddy's got Cookie Monster ice cream." That guy made almost 2 gallons of Cookie Monster ice cream. Do you know that he sold out of Cookie Monster ice cream in that day?
That's cool. Yeah, that's what he should
Yeah,
have done.
yeah. But I had to buy some Cookie Monster ice
I
cream. And I
bought,
thought that
I
was
bought some.
what's
Oh,
that?
yeah, I bought some for my son. Remember, I bought some
Yeah.
from Wyatt, and then I had the peanut butter one, the Nutter Butter. But and that's like my Achilles heel, dude. I mean, like I literally will eat peanut butter out of a jar on a spoon.
Yeah.
But
I
I Cookie
eat peanut
Monster,
butter
I
every
should
day.
have got it. It was when he said it's made of 4 different cookies, and I'm like, oh, what 4 different cookies? And the first one was like chocolate chip. I'm like, oh, dude, that thing's gonna freaking jack my blood sugar to the moon.
You know what? Now that I gotta say this, I couldn't remember her name, but he says it right here. Heck, we had 20 plus stick cars there for 2025. Tanya, which was Jason's wife,
Yeah,
she was killing it with 3 on the tree. Did you see her in the brackets
in
running
the
that
mountain,
thing?
I did not see that.
Dude, she was just killing it, man, and she was having a great time in that car.
Well, I
Just
saw like, and that's the same as it was the year before. Because even this year and the year before, Walter from Blue Creek Garage has that stick shift in that Mustang with a 250 straight six in it,
mhm.
right? And I mean, they have an absolute blast. Anna was driving it this year and learned how to drive a stick shift at the No Name Nationals just to run it that weekend. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't. I didn't know that, but I was right back there. In fact, I filmed her. I think it was on Thursday when she was in the 6-cylinder challenge, and I watched her. I videotaped her going down the track, and she was in the left lane. I thought that was so awesome. I was just like so happy for them. Like that she was. You could see that all the air was let out of them when they were still having problems with the carburetor, and then when they fixed it on Friday, or I think it was Thursday. I think they fixed it. I can't remember what day it was. And then it ran great. You could just see that the whole life came back into it. I thought that was awesome. So
There seems to be a lot of stick cars that come to this No Name National. And if you look back at the first year, you remember the Daddy's Money Garage guys that had the little Valiant 4-door?
yep.
They had a stick in theirs.
Yeah. But
John Wilbur said the Brewers brought 2 4-speed Roadrunners. Bigfoot Marks Jack Pine Savage is automatic. Oh, all right.
yeah. Okay. Frizzell, this community can't support the big money heads up stick shift. The bracket gives everyone a chance, and we'll still have a heads up for the faster ones. That's
Well,
awesome.
and the thing was that I think what John's talking about is having a class specifically for stick cars.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be awesome because I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go stick shift racing in this car. I mean, why not?
Oh yeah, that's Clint Street Machine said there was also a Linko Dart. I didn't see the guys from New Smyrna Beach this year.
No, I didn't either. I didn't see them at all. I was expecting to see them because they normally park right in front of us.
Yeah.
I did see that he had a couple shorts up, but I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't see them. Oh yes, that's right. Right. She barked the tires going into second gear.
Oh, Anna did?
Yeah, yeah, she did. Tanya. She went into second gear. She barked the tires. I was like, yeah, that was so awesome. I remember seeing that, and I was like, that was like the greatest thing.
And mostly old parts. Ron Ward saying that yikes, gunshots outside my house. Hang on, folks. I'm grabbing the 870 and locking the front door.
That sucks. While we're doing that, John Wilburn, he's going to do a No Name Nationals wrap up on his channel live Friday, 7/9 Central on John Wilburn, the bringer of the No Name Nationals. So he's going to do a wrap up over there from his perspective, and which is always good because me and Dallas are just doing it from our perspective, and we don't want to rain on his parade. Oh yeah. So Ron, that slant with the 3 on the tree was the funnest stick car to watch, and Tanya was killing it. I agree, man. I watched her probably go 3 or 4 different times down the track. I thought it was great.
So Mexican Spec says $7 for a cup of ice cream, though. I think it was 5 for Cookie
I gave him
Monster.
a tip. I don't remember. I gave him. I put $7 up there because my kids were selling T-shirts. We were blowing out T-shirts at $5 a piece. So, so I just grabbed a bunch of ones and I just handed the guy when he's like $7, and I was like, I'll take that one. I think it was like $5, but I gave him like a $2 tip. It just was what it was. I didn't care at that point.
Dead Dog Garage says that Cookie Monster ice cream was great. I talked him into getting. He was like looking at it, and I said, "Dude, you got to try the Cookie Monster." He made it specifically for Shane's car, and he was like, "Oh, I'll try it." And he got it, and it's like, good deal.
So Tanya made it to the 4th round in beginner. Did you know that?
No, I
didn't know that either. Oh, Hot Rod Guy's Garage says, I'm half tempted to put my top loader behind the LS. You should. Absolutely should, because that would be awesome. Because that's literally probably what I'm going to do here. I have another TKX, but I also got that Ford top loader. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to put in here, but one of the two is going to go in here.
Jason's Garage says it was a blast seeing everyone.
Yeah, I agree. John Wilburn saying this. Go ahead and read this one.
Just a stick bracket. We need diversity in a stick class. Takes so much money and maintenance. I love super stock and modified limiter. If any of that shows up, we'll make a match race for them. Well, that's okay. So that was what I was thinking. Is if I'm going to try to run Triple Crown next year with my Buick. I'm also going to grab 4 or 5 people out of that class to do a heads up match race because the cars should be paired like relatively close. And I'm going to have some fun with it. I'm going to make it, the only person making more passes than me is going to be JB.
Oh, yeah, right. Me too. I'm going to build this one. I was telling Dallas this, I think this morning. I want to build one of my recipe engines that I used to do with just a little better head flow, put it in this car, and just go out there and just beat it up and have fun. That I would love that. I would drive this thing to work, just like your old hot rod that you had. That I think that would just be awesome. Vintage Adventure Drive says, I was sad that he couldn't get a medium size Slant Daily shirt. Sorry, man. We only had large. It was the smallest one.
Dude, once you grow into a full-size man, you can use the large shirt.
Keep swinging that stick shift, man. You might get a forearm.
That one freaking awesome, huge arm. My 96-inch Python and my 27-inch Python.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Ron Moore says, the ice cream guy was super nice. I chatted with him Friday night for about an hour. He's got a Hellcat Challenger that he runs in the 6s at Sykeston.
Yeah.
Let's see. Levi's back here. Performance. Here's my question for you, for y'all. Do I do a Gen 1 small block or stick with LS stuff for the Triple Crown? Dude, if you're looking at a Triple Crown motor for Brooke, I've got the deal for you. I got the Easy 302. It is literally a drop-in to something that all you do is find yourself a Vega, a Monza, a S10 pickup. The thing's going to be a murderer in the class.
And it makes a ton of torque. You don't have to RPM it. What did it make for horsepower? Just under 400, right?
It made 360 horse and 370 foot-pounds of torque. But, I was getting air-fuel ratios at 9.5, right? Yeah. So it should be like 380, 390 horse. That's what I think is going to happen. But there's also other things that Andy Wood and I were going to try. We were going to take it back to the dyno and see if we can squeeze 400 horse out of it without changing the cam.
Ron says the best statement. This is the second best of it. Levi Backyard Performance. It's a carburetor class.
This one has a quad jet
Carburetor.
on, so you're already getting a 100-pound weight break for the quad jet. You're actually getting 200 pounds, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's 200. I don't remember. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. And then Brooke says, you can't do stick if you're expecting me to race it. Well, you can learn. It's not hard. It's literally
What's
the
her name?
simple.
Anna
Bro.
learned in the parking lot. Anna
Yeah.
learned in the parking lot, and 22 hours later, she was going down the drag strip in a stick shift car. That you can do that. If she can do it, you can do it. I thought that was awesome. Vintage Adventure Drive says, Shane, any recipes for big block Mopars? Yes, I got plenty of them for that. I'll have to dig them up, but I did the small block ones just because a lot of people were asking about small blocks. But yeah, I do have it. But it makes a difference if it's a low deck or a raised deck. Just tell me what it is, and I'll tell you what to get. And they're 500 to 550 in that range, depending on what it is. And you can RPM the crap out of some of them.
Well, so Levi's Backyard Performance says it's getting a turbo 350, and that's only because he's got one sitting in the shop ready to go.
Perfect. And it doesn't take that much power to turn, and it will, whatever the weight is, it will actually just take it, and you can beat it up.
Oh, Brooke says, we'll be lucky if we see her at No Name Nationals 26. I'll be a new nurse and may not be able to come. Well, that sucks because I always like seeing the smile on your face. I remember 2 years ago when Dylan was tearing the engine out and you were just like shaking your head. And I'm like, wouldn't you like to come to a No Name Nationals and not have to build something in the parking lot to do the event?
Wasn't this the first year that happened?
Yes, she didn't have to do anything. She actually came over to our tent and was like, where's the $400, suckers? Right? Like,
that's
for
right.
the first and the fives.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you know what? You're having too much fun. Maybe we should get Dylan to start like tearing the motor out or something.
And I told her, so I'll give it to you at the awards. And I made sure to give it to her, not to Dylan, but to her.
Yeah.
And here's a good one too. Tanya could teach Brooke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, stick shift. So yeah. Oh, he says that he's saying that he's married to the low deck. He's running the 400 block right now. Perfect. Yeah. I'll get you. Did you want to stay with the stock stroke? If so, there's a really easy recipe for those. It's just literally camshaft intake, heads, and carburetor and headers. And I think it was 5 something for that setup, and it was reasonably, with the I think it was a 750 carb too. So it wasn't crazy. It was a really simple deal.
Dan
off the top of my head
is saying, what's involved in putting a top loader in a Mopar? I think it's more or less just like, don't they make an adapter for that? For the
yeah. Basically, it's a
bell
clutch.
housing have that pattern, right?
Yeah, it's just a bell housing, and then you get there's a bearing that goes in the back of the block, obviously for that, and I think it's a 23 spline. You can't put a Chevrolet in them, but you can put the Mopar or the Ford in the Mopar. And then the clutch is just whatever spline it is, and you just get the clutch that fits the Mopar, and then the disc that's for the Ford for the spline count, because all the discs are all the same.
That used to be a very common thing in pro stock back in the 70s before the Lenco came out, was that racers would run the top loader Ford because it technically was the strongest one out of all of them, because instead of having a side cover, it's got the top, huh?
Yeah, and it's the third gear is what it is because if you look at an AA33 where the third gear is at, it'll pull apart in third gear, right? That's where it strips out. Where on the Ford top loader, it's supported on that side, and it just keeps it stronger in that area. And that's the reason why I got rid of the AA33 and went to the Ford top loader, was for that exact reason. Exactly. I was just going to say the same thing, that there is no other engine that responds 125 horsepower nitrous better than a 400 big block Mopar. And it is absolutely correct. In fact, I sprayed one 250 on stock pistons, stock rods. I didn't even know what I was doing, and that engine absorbed that, and it ran for almost a year with absolute brutality. sometimes not even knowing how to take out, not even take out enough timing because I didn't know how much time to take out. This is all in the mid 90s. Uh, and it just absorbed it and it ate it up. It did until I finally blew it up, but that was my fault because I wasn't running enough fuel. I wasn't running enough timing, pulling out, and it just ate it up. So 100% agree with that.
I think mine was 302 Ford. 302 Ford, I was hitting it with 150 shot off the line and 150 shot at the 60-foot mark. So 300 total. And
Yeah.
it they didn't eat it up, but they were, man, they run good. But geez, what sucks is like the blocks start splitting open like a freaking, like you're peeling a banana.
Yeah, right down the center. That's exactly what happened to my friend. Is it literally just pulled apart, just like that. And the intake was what was holding it together. And
Mine was the timing cover in the intake manifold because water started pouring out and it was still running.
Yeah.
Water was pouring out of the block on the side. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? So I did the typical Dallas Brown booger eating redneck thing. And I drained the water out and went up and made a pass.
Mm-hmm.
And it made another pass. It was happy. Ran like, I don't remember, like, I think at the time I was running like 1020s and brought it back. And then it just started, the oil pressure started fluctuating. I couldn't figure out what's going on. And it was that the block had cracked over the oil line. So it was sucking air. And I ended up taking it out and took it apart. And when I pulled the intake manifold off with it on the engine stand, it was like,
yeah, we took the intake off inside the car and literally you heard the headers tink as they fell apart because the whole block just separated like that. But Levi's asking, is MSD a part of the Edelbrock group? No, it is not. It's part of Holly. Yeah, it's part of Holly. We have FAST, FAST, Fast Air Spark Technology.
Fuel Air Spark Technology.
Yeah, Fuel Air Spark Technology. Yeah, exactly. Brooks saying that if I am racing, I need to be in the beginner's bracket, not so much in Triple Crown. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I got to tell you right now, if you had an automatic and ran in there and you got at least a couple times at the track, you'd be just fine in the Triple Crown. With something like that. I promise you'll be fine with that because it's not crazy fast stuff. Oh yeah, exactly. Triple Crown will be easier for you. I promise. Judging the stripe is tough. Yes, and that's the whole thing too. Is it's a heads up race, so you're not really working on a clock or anything like that. It's just from here, reaction time. Make sure your shifts are good, and then go down. And it's a lot more fun too. At least for me. That's just my opinion. Brooke, I can't set the date just yet, but tentatively looks like 9/17/19/2026 for the 5th annual No Name Nationals. So there you go. There you heard it right here. There it is.
And Vintage Adventure Drive is saying something pretty bold here. I just thought of something. I bet I'll have the fastest car with a points distributor come next year. Nope. I got a dual point. A YL dual point in my Buick, and I'm hoping that sucker runs 7.0s.
Okay. We've already got the first race set up.
Dallas, I haven't even got a car built yet.
But you just said you're going to have one, and you just said no. So we have a year. You have a year. So there's the first race. Tanner versus Dallas. Points versus points. That sounds like an awesome race.
Dylan Levi says, I really enjoyed Triple Crown and I need a racing break. Dude, that would be fun. Like, I think Brooke will have a blast. Yeah. And I don't think it won't blow her away all that much. I mean, it's just the cars aren't super fast because of the limitations on the class, but it would definitely be enjoyable and cost effective and all the above.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we built it for, is that, there's so many times me and Dallas said, I just wish it was like 1990, 1980s all over again. And that's what we made the class around, just going out with your buddies on a Saturday night, meeting up at whatever it was, your Winn-Dixie, or, for us, it was McDonald's, and going out racing on Center City Parkway in Escondido, all night.
Clint saying, and Dallas has a Buick to build for my Wildcat S10 for the next year or two. I do. I got to put it together. I got to get them rods and pistons back. And,
So Clint's got the S10. He can be he's a Triple Crown contender then, right?
Technically he probably could be. I don't know if he would want to.
Oh God, he'd be fun. They'd give him something to do.
Well, that thing's only 308 cubic inch, so it's not going to be a rocket ship, but it does have a 700 R4 transmission in it.
Ron saying something. Oh, make the only rules change for the Triple Crown must be a breaker point distributor. That's kind of a good one.
Well,
but then
a lot of people.
Yeah, eliminate a lot of people. Yeah, but we can't do that because we got weight breaks for the LS and whatever. And then she goes, "Yeah, someone else can record the racing for once." So
that's Dylan's job now.
Yeah, right.
Dylan's been put out to pasture, so now it's your job to drive the car, and he's got to get you the Cookie Monster ice cream and record the racing.
Right. I think Jamie's now hooked.
Huh?
I think Jamie's hooked now because he says that's it. The tag drive has to come out for a dual point. So there it is. So I think he's hooked on this. I think he's going to be coming back next year, which would be awesome. Oh man, going through here. Brooke goes, I will never get in that Laguna to race, and I want my Camaro. So there you
go. So Jamie talks about himself in the third person here. He says, "Yeah, Jamie's hooked."
Perfect. Well, that's good. Here, John Wilbert says Nevac 57 wishes that you would allow crossbreeding engine body. He'll bring a 296 4-speed Studebaker. If so, we already said he said yes to this last year, which me and Dallas kind of bit heads on this because I didn't want that, but I said, okay, fine, I'll let it happen and we'll let everybody vote. But he never showed up. He never.
Yeah, we did like probably 8 months ago. Say, since the car literally had no home, we looked at it as an orphan. Like you had to treat the orphans as just 9 pounds per cubic inch.
Yeah, right? that Studebakers. What was the other car too?
Henry J's.
Yeah.
Anglias. Well, no, Anglias were Fords. So there was a couple of more that we came up with, and it was like, man, we should have a class. That way the gassers could jump in there. That the whole idea is for Triple Crown is to be as inclusive as possible.
Yeah.
Right? Where just about anybody could go heads up racing if they're willing to deal with just the basic rules from the class.
Yeah. 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 Brooke says Dylan and I are only going back and forth because I am in Indiana and he is currently in Canada. Okay.
Yeah, he's working out of state or out of country, actually.
Out of country, man. That sucks.
Clint's saying actually the S10 doesn't qualify for Triple Crown with a Buick engine and a Chevy. No, that's not true. We've already come up with it. Is if it's a GM, it goes in a GM. The only reason that originally we weren't going to do that because we were like, the Buick should be in the Buick and the Cadillac and whatever. But the reality of it is Ford just has their basic Ford line of engines in a Mercury, Lincoln, Ford, and same with Mopar.
Yeah, exactly.
So GM should be treated kind of the same, even though there's like 20 different variants of engines you could run in that class.
Michael Schmidt's asking a question. Who drove the furthest to attend deserves an award? Was it Dead Dodge? I believe it was Dead Dodge, wasn't it? Or was it Tony?
It was Dead Dodge Garage, and he did receive an award. We have an award for that every year. It's called the Star Traveler Award.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Yeah.
Star and Traveler. It has a sextant on it, which is essentially what you use to navigate in the stars.
Yeah, exactly. I said this earlier, but I want to say this again that I got 3 awards. One's for the fast CT or low CT, one was fast mile an hour. But the biggest one was the engineering award. I got that from Deke, and I thought that was amazing. Deke's seen a lot of cars in his lifetime, so I thought that was just it meant something when I got it from Deke. So thank you if he's on here, if he ever comes back. Thank you, Deke, for that. I thought that was awesome. I didn't think I was going to win anything. Honestly, I didn't think so.
Let's see.
Is there anything coming up useful? 180, maybe.
I don't know, but dude, can you believe it's like been an hour and 30 minutes already?
I know. Somebody wanted to know real quick how there was someone asked me earlier because they were looking at the front dash of my 66 Dart and said it looks like a later Dart on the dash. Well, I'll tell the story. I'll make it as quick as possible, and because someone's asking about this, text. In 1966, there was a guy in LA, and he was at the Dodge dealership, and he wanted a hot rod. In 1966, they came out with these D darts. So he didn't want, in LA traffic, he didn't want a stick shift, and he wanted air conditioning. So he put an order in for a car that was a 66 Dart that would have air conditioning, automatic, and would have the commando engine in it. And so it went off to Spalding Dodge and was getting built there. By the time the car was done and whatnot, it was almost 1968 because the car went over there and was there for a year and a half, whatever. So then when the car finally came out, it was delivered. They had to put different parts on it. So I believe the dash is out of a 67 or maybe even a 68 as far as the instrument cluster, because but that's the one that it came with. The car was basically put up at that point because he didn't want that car, because in 68 they came out with the 68 Dart. So with the Hemi. So he bought one of those, and this car just basically went on jack stands. After he passed away, his kid got the car. He drove the car for almost 30,000 miles, did no tune-ups on it at that whole time. Basically died somewhere in 1990. And then we bought the car 90-something. And literally had been sitting on jack stands, put a gas can in the front seat, put a hose in it, drove it up there, put a new set of points on it, drove the car home. And then I found out the story on it. But that's literally the story of the car. And it was narrowed from the factory. So that was relocated from the factory. And it had a big D on the rear pumpkin when I got it. I'm only thinking that was on there because they narrowed it for the D darts, or that was narrowed at Spalding. Don't know what it was. But that's the story in a really quick nutshell of how I came to be in my car. And that's the reason why I could just never just destroy it, is once I found out the history of it, that I still have the original headers, the original engine that came in that car. And then I put a 400 in it, but I still have all the original stuff. So I never could really cut it up. That's why I'm enjoying Plan Z so much, is because I can take the hacksaw to it and don't even care.
Well, the hacksaw's already been taken to it.
Oh, and the hole saw and you know, all the meth holes, and it's just like I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't make that joke, and I'm sorry that I said that, but some of those things are not even straight, dude. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's my OCD, but if I'm going to drill a hole on one side, I'd make sure there was a corresponding hole that was roughly the same area. They're not. There's like 15 on one side and 16 on the other, or there'd be like 12 on one side and 9 on the other. It's like, where's the math in this? How did this come to be?
Well, I honestly believe that none of them take structural integrity into consideration at all.
No, and that's the reason why I'm having so much problems with putting it onto the road. I really think I need to put J tubes on this car before I actually put any power to it. Personally, I think the front end's going to fold. Yes, Clint, it does drive me nuts. And the worst thing about it is it's painted white, so it stands out. I'm almost wanting to paint it, hide it black, so that way I just can't see it.
Black.
Yeah, just
no reflection whatsoever. You drop a bolt, it's gone forever. But no one sees the hole differences.
It's gone. DE 1634, nice low gloss black. It's not glossy, it's not flat. It's right there in the middle. It just absorbs everything. It's gone. There should be a shits and giggles class. That's funny.
I don't know if we have enough time to run all these classes. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because Friday, what sucks about Friday is that, like, you literally get the bracket done, you go right into the burnout contest.
Yeah.
Because they got set up for it, right?
Well, because by the time you do the picture, right? I didn't even make it up to the picture because I was doing so many other things, and you didn't make it up to the picture with your car either, did you?
No. I didn't even know they were doing the picture till the cars were already out on the track. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
me too.
oh, I'm not even
Yeah,
going to bother.
I saw Just Mopar Joe going by, and I'm like, I know he's a low number, and I'm like, well, I'm 60, so I'm 69, so I was like, well, I've probably already been missed. I don't know, so I was like, I'm just not
My
going to
number's
bother.
really low. It's like 5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I could have been out there, but I didn't go.
Ron saying, Shane, in Tony's defense, he flat out said that the whole lightning process amounted to him drilling 2 to 3 holes in it every time he walked by it. True to his word, he did exactly that. I'm not talking bad about it at all. I understand the point of the car. It was make it as light as possible, and I get that. It's just that for me, my OCD would be so terrible because it would be, I would drill, if it's 2 or 3 holes, I would have 2 holes on this side and 2 holes on this side in the matching corresponding spots, so that way they would be even. So, yeah. Oh, what about an Opal? What is an Opal? That's a GM, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Buick.
Yeah.
Buick sold those. That's brought over from Europe. It's a European Buick, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you should get like a Cadet. Get an Opel Cadet, because that's like a traditional drag racing car. And then you can run a small cubic inch Chevrolet in it. It would be pretty fast.
You know, I like this one. I think we need less classes and more call-outs, because I remember the first 2 years of the No Name Nationals was literally call-outs constantly.
Yeah, and that's where I think some of this Triple Crown, I'm going to call suckers out, because now I got a class car. Everybody else has got the same requirements, right? And it's like, I'm going to call people out from that class. John Wilburn says, is a Chevy engine allowable as Studebaker for Triple Crown? Yes, because the Studebaker we determined last year was an orphaned class or an orphaned car, right? No one's making any new Studebaker engines. There's no engineering that you could put behind it to make the Studebaker run because they ended so early, right? Now, so what we decided to do is anything that was an orphan class or an orphan car, you could mix and match the engine combination to your will, right? Essentially.
Yeah, we talked about this almost 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago when was it Nelson?
Andrew Nelson was asking about it, and Shane and I actually kind of argued amongst ourselves about it, and then for like 2-3 days we thought about it, and it's like, you know what, that's the right thing to do. Is that it literally, because it's running weight to cubic inch. It really does not matter about the manufacturer thing, but what we were trying to do was to keep people from taking the best suspension and chassis combination and putting it with the best engine and then build a ringer, and then the entire class being the Fox 5-liter or the Fox Mustang with a freaking Chevrolet in it.
Yeah,
right?
like
or LS in it. Or
Mustang with an LS or a Gen 3 Hemi. Exactly that. And that was my big thing with Dallas is I don't want this to be the Mustang class with an LS or a Gen 3 Hemi in it, and that's the reason why we did that. But I have no problem with an orphan class, because at first I was adamant, no. But then Dallas talked to me about, well, what kind of engine is Studebaker going to run? I'm like, well, you know what? You got a point there. So, yeah.
Right. So we just decided to leave them as 9 pounds per cubic inch, because you're only looking at a handful of orphans. You know, it's like AMC is not an orphan. It was bought by Chrysler. So it's the cool thing is, since AMC was bought by Chrysler, I'm surprised no one's put together a Gremlin with a Gen 3 Hemi in it and come out and whacked everyone, you know?
I'm telling you right now, if we've said this before, but since we have so many people in here right now, if you want to rule Triple Crown, go get yourself a Jeep Cherokee. Go get a Jeep Cherokee. Yeah. It's a unibody, 2-wheel drive. Put a Gen 3 Hemi in it. Those things weigh nothing. They come with a straight axle from the factory. All the factory pickup points are there. It has all the weight in the back. It has everything you need, and it weighs nothing. And you can put a big engine in it, and it's going to haul ass. There you go. That's there you go. You're welcome. That's one of the ringers right there.
Yeah, and then you can put an 8.8 Ford in it from the junkyard. The suspension is already a straight axle. All the parts are readily available in the junkyard. It fits a GM manual steering box from a G body. The windows are all flat, so you can make Lexan windows at home. There's nothing stopping you from doing that stuff. And that is one of the ringers. Now, if you were to build a 4-wheel drive version of that Jeep, I don't think we allowed forward drive in there, right?
No, no, no,
So
because we
yeah,
did
but
that.
we
We
did say the Cherokee, or not the Cherokee, the what was it? The
AMC
Eagle.
Eagle.
AMC Eagle is the only thing that's allowed to be four wheel drive, and then we had to take that out because people were taking it too serious.
Yeah. Jamie's saying that late Studebakers came with Chevy 6s and 283s. So there you go. Okay. So
We just did allow the orphan class, essentially the orphan cars, to fit in the class. They just had to run it the same weight as everyone else.
perfect. Here's another call out. Here you go. I will call out Tanner for the No Name Nationals 2026. There you go.
Oh, there you go. But he's going to have that 400 cubic inch in the Scamp or whatever. He's got what is it, a Scamp? I think it's a Scamp.
Yeah.
Or Valiant.
Valiant. Something. Yeah. It's an A body. Here's the thing, though, Ron, is that an SP2 engine, you can't have that because small block Chevrolet has got 23-degree
One, it
valve.
wasn't a mass production OEM engine.
And also, too, it doesn't have 23. Wow. Small block Chevrolet's got 23-degree valves. SP2 does not. They're canted valves, so it cannot run. That was a big thing, too, that I wanted.
Junkyard D says, is Lexan allowable? I'm thinking in the windows or in the rules, it didn't say anything about the windows. Just like somebody was asking me about fiberglass the other day. It's weight to cubic inch. So it really doesn't matter.
Bumpers. I think we had hood and bumpers. You could have fiberglass.
I was asking about fenders.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think it matters because it's weight to cubic inch.
Yeah, I'd have to look back at the rules again because that was a long time ago, but I'm not sure if it said all steel in there or anything. I don't think it did. So, Tony from Hot Rod Garage is here. What's up, man?
Hey,
so I'm
here right at the end.
I'm assuming that he must have made it home then.
Oh, and then Vintage Adventure Drive made it home, and then now Dead Dodge Garage is on his way still, and he said he was in South Dakota or something. But I think he's taken didn't he take the long route through Mopar Joe's shop and work on that Cordoba or something that they were working on?
Yeah. Well, I just watched that video actually before, and they got it running.
Did they?
Small block. Yeah, he got it running. Yeah. Without a lot of, it looked like one of those Chinesium Edelbrocks too. So I'm not sure. Or it could have been a Carter, but I think he bought a China rebuild kit and he got.
Oh yeah, I did see that part. He was like, "Don't use this."
Yeah.
Vintage Adventure Drive says, "Oh, I may need to build a Hudson with a high winding 318 for Triple Crown." The world is your oyster, brother. You can do that.
Dust Devil saying that he wanted to call out me, but knowing if our cars would be matched. I'm telling you, I'm going to be bringing this, and it's going to have a lot less power in it. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be stick shift, and you're going to see a whole different side of racing because I'm going to build this thing so I can just hot lap this thing all day long.
Yeah, and I think this year I was actually pleasantly surprised with the turnout for Triple Crown. I really was.
Yeah, we had nine cars, 8 that made it down the track. That was for first time. I was very. I even said in the video, man, I was just like really surprised. I was actually humbled by how much people embraced it. It was a vision that we had, and it was just so awesome.
And the whole idea was to just make it cost effective. We'll see how long it stays cost effective.
Yeah. Tom Brown saying, Shane, look up the world's lightest 911 from the Lake Break Show. It has more holes than your car. Okay, I will look that up. Sweet, the first call 360 days before the next No Name Nationals. If John was in here, he would tell us the days, the hours, and the minutes, and the seconds to the next one tentatively. Remember, you got to use that word tentatively.
So Mama M3 Colleen is asking, I need a clarification on the Triple Crown. 9 pounds per cubic inch. That means the car can't weigh less than blank, correct? Yes, but it just depends what your cubic inch is. That's what determines. So you just take 9 times the cubic inches, and that's what the car essentially has to weigh at minimum.
Yeah. Ron, they don't make a magneto for it, but there is a company that makes the distributor for them. So, yeah. 30 Racing says, Shane, I know how to lose gracefully. I do too, man. I don't give a shit. Man, that's. I'll tell you right now. Until I learned how to really race, I lost a lot of races, but that's how you learn, you know. And I was always go. I was always broke when I was racing, so I had to until I found nitrous. I literally lost half the races because I was always going up against something faster than me, and if I couldn't get them out of the hole, they would just walk away from me because they always had more money.
Tony's Hot Rod Garage is asking you a question. Slant Daily Garage, tell me about the new Evolution retrofit hydraulic roller lifters that just saw them on Comp's website. They look like a pretty sweet part.
Yes. The Evolution lifters, actually, some of our Triple Crown guys got those. One got a big block Mopar, one got a small block Mopar. What they are is they're insert lifters. So they have, imagine like a regular hydraulic lifter that you can take the insert out. What makes them special is that the insert is precision made and it's made in the USA. And it's a very, very, very good unit. Now, people are like, well, what is that? Why does that change things? So if you have a lifter go bad, you can take that part out for whatever reason, and you can put a new part in there. You don't have to put new lifters in. You don't have to break it in. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Also, too, because it has two different stages. You have a low pressure chamber and a high pressure chamber. So on the low pressure chamber, it's constantly feeding oil to that. So it doesn't bleed down, or people call it pumping up, but actually it's just bleeding down. And it fills back up faster. So that way on the base circle, when you're going on the base circle before it comes back up to the ramp, it's able to recharge that chamber again because you have the two chambers there and you always have oil inside there. It's an amazing system. Also, if you have the roller ones, they're really designed for power, RPM, and we tested those in LSs that were like, in Mark Campbell's car in 2022. That's when we were testing these things. We put those in his car. It was making 1,400 horsepower. And we were running, I think, 27 pounds of boost to his car. It's a Mustang. He was running the 850 index class. And that's literally how these things were tested. We have half of the cars out there that are running hydraulic lifters, rollers in the LS class, or just even Gen 3 Hemis too, are running those Evolution lifters. They work really well for people who want to run drag and drive events, don't want to have to adjust their valves halfway through the event. They can literally use the word, remember the microwave oven, set it and forget it. That is literally what it is. It's set it and forget it. I still like to set those off the bottom. I like to do that with all my lifters, but it just gives you more range now for RPM. Also, to the longevity of it, because it is a precision built unit that has two different chambers on it, it's going to last literally forever. And when you start the car up, it doesn't have that bleed down rate. Most of them are only going to have the one check ball with a wafer in there. So that way, when you're sitting on, like, say, the lifter's open, it's going to want to bleed down that oil because of the two chambers. It literally won't. I have a style of the Evolution lifters that are the DLC coded in my green car. So the Lizard King technically has the Evolution inserts in the DLC lifters. I can let that car sit for 2 weeks. I can start it up, and if you know how Slant 6 works, the oil has to come up through the rocker arm, go down the push rod to the lifter because there's no oil pressure going to the lifters. That thing doesn't tick at all. And I'm still running a decent amount of spring pressure on there. I have about just under 300 over the nose on that car, which is way more than I needed. And I didn't even break those lifters in. I started that car up and I drove it. And that's essentially the beauty of the Evolution lifter is that the bleed down rate, the fill rate, how much abuse they can take, and also too, it's opening the exhaust valve under all that cylinder pressure at high RPM, and that's where it survives, and that's really what they were designed to do. If that clarifies it in a nutshell.
So we got 5 minutes left, I guess.
Sorry, I went too long on that.
No, you didn't go too long. You were giving the details of it. But
Yeah.
we got 5 minutes left. So is there anything that you want to plug or talk about, or?
Yeah, I actually do. I have a video coming up the weekend before the No Name Nationals. I had to drive out to Dallas for personal reasons, but I do have a video coming out of me driving out there at 75 miles an hour, me driving home at 80 miles an hour. And it's a whole thing on gas mileage and the Lizard King, and how I can, what I'm getting out of it with the dual Holley 1920 carburetors, which I still think are a great carburetor for street driving. So I have that coming up probably this weekend.
Well, I have the make a fiberglass hood for your 63 Buick video that I should probably just dump all the video because I got so much video. I'm going to have to clip half of it out or more. That's just so much crap. And then stripping the paint off the top. And what else I got going on? I need to work with Andy, and I need to come up with some times to get the Easy 302 back over to the dyno and flog that sucker till the nuts fall off of it. So 400 horse with this original cam or bust, right?
Actually, yes and no, Clint. I've never named one of my cars. Every single person has named them. I bought this car and I drove it out to the very first zip tie drags. It was zip tie drags back then. It was in January. I had my daughter with me, and we stopped somewhere in Arizona on the way home, and my daughter stole a little rubber lizard from a tree that was in this gift shop somewhere, right? And we get back in the car, and then she goes, "Daddy, I have a name for your car." And she holds this lizard. It's the same color as your car. And then, because I'm a big Doors fan myself, I said, "It is now the Lizard King." And I put it up on the dash. And then she goes, "The Lizard King." And I looked at my daughter and said, "Yes, because it can do anything." So if you know the reference, that's literally how it became the name of the Lizard King.
Mohawk 62 is asking, Shane Dallas, are you guys still doing Six Smokies and Dragon's Tail, the Tail of Dragon? Yes, we are. We're just going to go into Green Dart, I think, this year.
Yeah, possibly the Green Dart. If I can't get this thing done and make it safe, my thing is safe, then we're probably going to do it just in the green car. And I have a lot of cars that are going to be running some of my products for SEMA and PRI. So, yeah. But we'll still have fun. Man, this whole thing went fast. Remember, don't forget to go see Mr. John Wilburn on Friday night on his channel. John Wilburn.
Run down on the whole No Name Nationals.
Yeah, not just our No Name Nationals, but the whole No Name Nationals from his area, and what he's probably going to do, what he's going to change. He always likes your guys' input on making it better, making for this and that. So give me your input on it, and yeah, go and check him out on that one.
Clint Street Machine says, I'm 15 minutes from the Dragon if anyone needs to take a dump or nap or whatever.
Good.
So
that means we're going to see you.
What if I need to take a dump nap?
Okay, oh, Dr. Goes in here. I didn't see him come in. Thank you, Professor B.
Beginning.
I didn't see it, man. I'm sorry. I just, you know what I mean? I was so excited about the live. But it's good to see you, man. Glad you're here. See, look, someone else says, "Hey, Dr. Go." So I wasn't the only one.
He's just been kind of quiet. I did call him out at the beginning.
Oh, so. Okay. He's lurking then. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Man. All right. Well, I think that's it. We've hit the weird hour.
Yeah.
And it's been 2 hours essentially. So
yeah, we're gonna call it.
Yeah, till next week, I guess.
Yeah, till next week, guys. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming around. Thanks everyone for the No Name Nationals. Thanks for engaging and everything. And once again, man, it was this live was awesome, and it makes it fun. When it's fun for us, it makes us, like me and Dallas, want to continue to do this. So thank you for that. So,
so Don Dottie here, I think that's how you say it. It says, "Cookie Monster Ice Cream Maker is here." We already had a whole entire 30 minutes about how awesome your Cookie Monster ice cream was.
Yeah, dude, thank you, man. I told him we do lives and stuff like that, and he asked to name my channel name, and I told him. But thank you, man. That was awesome. I got to tell you, man, that was bitching. I have a video up. I think it's on the day 3. Go and check it out. You're on there. So, but thanks again, man. It was really good. Thank you.
Yeah, we gave you some big kudos probably an hour and a half ago. Yeah, right. Dead Dutch Garage says, good to actually beat you guys. Catch you later. Thanks so much for stopping by, man.
Yeah.
And it was great to meet you too. I had a good time, and I hope you. Well, I know you enjoyed it because you said you already did. You already said you did.
He's hooked, just like everyone else. They're hooked because it's a whole different vibe. So, all right, we're going to leave it on that. All right, you guys have a great week. We'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to go see Mr. Wilburn Friday. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
we're out.
Peace.
See you. It's now officially Wednesday.